Welcome to another episode of Head to Head. Today we're looking at the Audio-Technica AT2040 and the Elgato Wave DX. Both of these microphones come in at MSRP around $100 and they can be had on sale for around $90. So it's a very value microphone, kind of the lower end of podcast microphones, but we're going to take a look at each and talk about the benefits and features of them. Let's talk a little bit about the Audio-Technica AT2040. Audio-Technica has a really good track record of making affordable and good sounding products. These headphones, for example, I'm an Audio-Technica fan. They're right here in Ohio with us, here in Stowe, Ohio. So let's look at some build quality of it. It has an included clip. So if you loosen this knob here on this included clip, you can get angle adjustment, and you can also spin the mic in that. So if you want to show the logo a certain way, you can do that, or if it makes sense for your setup, yada yada. It's a decent clip. There's no shock mount to it. XLR goes right in the back here. But overall, kind of a plasticky design, but it doesn't feel like it's gonna slip or fall. So that's positive. Sometimes with the cheaper microphones, you might have a clip that will slip. This one I don't think is going to. It has a decent metal grill on it with a bit of foam on the inside, but the plosives and wind, if you were really wetting your whistle, you may run into some issues. So for this microphone, I would definitely be running either foam filter right over the front or a separate pop filter altogether. When it comes to podcasting, and if you're going to integrate video into your podcast, that's kind of a consideration to make, and we'll talk more about that later. So one major pro with both of these microphones really is the size. They're very compact. So if you have multiple people with multiple microphones, it's not this massive microphone for each person, and it's very conducive for doing video. With a microphone like this, if you didn't want to run a pop filter, you could do my favorite technique, which would be to talk a little off axis, and it gets your plosives off the mic. So you could still have some sneak in there, but a lot of times you can still get decent pickup with that directionality pointing at you, but as you speak across it or away from it, so to speak, kind of on a 45. But that would kind of make you have to, if you're listening, it's going to be something you can pay attention to, but it's something you have to be aware of. So I would probably still put a pop filter on here, so in case you aren't paying attention to your mic technique, it allows you to be a little more loose. For a dynamic microphone, the output is pretty healthy. It's not super low where you'll need a mic booster or something. If you don't have the best preamp, you're not going to be cranking your gain, which is a positive for this. If you're on a budget, which this microphone kind of fits that world, you don't have to buy a really nice preamp or get a mic booster on it. So that's a super positive for this. It's something you need to consider when buying mics with the likes of a Shure SM7B. You may think it's the best mic you've ever wanted, but you save up all the money to buy it. Now you need a better preamp or a cloud lifter or something like that. Check out our video on the cloud lifter versus the Clark Technic mic booster. Yeah, you can kind of save money twice buying a microphone like this. I think this mic sounds great. I have no qualms with it. It's for me and for us, it's nice to have a lot of mics and kind of mics in your arsenal. And if I was going to do a voiceover or maybe something more extensive like an audiobook, this might be one of the mics I set up with a handful of mics to find out which mic works best for someone. That's kind of my theory, is that not every mic is going to work the best for every person. So it's good to have options and good to have extra ones laying around. It's easy to buy 3 of these for $300, whereas you could easily spend $300 on one microphone. So not a bad mic, and you're not going to have a bad time with it. Now we're going to focus on the Elgato Wave DX. This microphone kind of took us by surprise when we got word of it, and when we got it in our hands and took a first listen, it was shocking. Elgato doesn't have necessarily a track record for making audio equipment, so I kind of had low expectation for it, but I was blown away. This microphone, again, just like the other one, $100. $90 on sale potentially. The build quality, very good. It has all aluminum construction here. One little knob lets you tilt the microphone, and again, a clip that doesn't feel like it's going to slip or slide over time. Very similar XLR port at the back, very clean. A mic like this or that one looks really great on camera. Something to consider when purchasing microphones. Output on this microphone, pretty healthy, a little lower than the 2040. It needs a little more gain to be equal with it, but not something egregiously low to where you're going to need extra equipment or a better preamp to make this thing work. The plosives with this microphone are much more controlled. I would be super confident going in with this microphone with no pop filter or a cover or anything like that. You can pretty much run this thing and you can be right up in its grill. I mean, my lips are on the microphone and I can pretty much say pretty much as I'd like. And there's not really a huge drawback. It's not stepping, I'm not sitting here listening like, what the heck is going on with the plosives? It's good. So something you don't have to think about with this microphone. And maybe a lot of folks out there will never think about it if they bought this as their first microphone, because they're not going to have an issue with it. It's nice not to have a pop filter. It's not an extra apparatus or an extra foam thing. And one more thing to buy, really. So it makes the budget and value of this microphone even better. I think this microphone is a great budget option for someone who's kind of just getting into it and may not have much audio experience. You're going to immediately avoid any plosives because it is just handling them so well. Again, one less thing you have to buy. And I would say for a beginner or someone who's just getting into it and doesn't have a huge budget, this microphone is kind of perfect for that, and it's definitely one I'm going to recommend. For a real-world application, we had the Rode Procaster, and we used that for a video recently. We had a friend of ours record it, and it was kind of on a whim, and the plosives were so bad that we needed to re-record it. So we actually went with this microphone kind of as a first test, and after our first listen to it, we were like, this thing's great. So actually, in our arsenal, we chose this over a Procaster. So although $100 may seem almost scarily inexpensive for a microphone, we chose it over the $300 Rode Procaster. And it's really not that scary low. I mean, SM58, best microphone out there for $100, but not super pretty on camera, I would say. In my opinion, it looks great on the stage because that's where it belongs, but this is a true and more ergonomically set up for a podcast. So with both of these microphones, they are end address. A lot of folks out there who are just getting into it may not understand polar patterns all the way, and kind of that a microphone has a zone. So this is a cardioid microphone, and the zone is right in front. If we tilt this up, the logo is on the side. So sometimes people will think, oh, there's the logo, that's the side you speak into, and it's a grill. So it's not. I wouldn't discount anyone's thought for that. If you don't know, you may think that's what it is. So you can take a listen now. This is if I talk right into the side of the microphone versus if I speak into the side that you're supposed to speak into. So it's a polar pattern of the microphone. It's how it's constructed. And it is confusing because there are condenser microphones and other microphones out there that are side address. So just know this is an end address, and you'll know right away if you take a listen. So now we're going to do a little test on each microphone about listening to my voice at different distances. You can kind of get a sense of, how much room is going to jump into this microphone around me. Right now we're very direct. You kind of can't hear much of the room, just me. So yeah, we'll start nice and close here. This is a very intimate kind of sound. This is where I like to be on a microphone. It's kind of the sweet spot for this one. And now I'm going to take a little, 6 to 8 inches back. No one's counting that. Maybe a foot here. That kind of looks like a foot. All right, and now we're going to take a listen at about a foot. So about a foot away. If you have guests on your podcast and you don't want them to be super into their mic, you can have them a foot away, and this is what it would sound like. And sometimes that's more comfortable, and you can have a more natural conversation without having to focus on your mic position. So this would be a extremely relaxed mic position. We're about 2 foot away now. So if you had multiple people on your podcast or a dog scratching his head right next to you, 2 foot away becomes an issue because you start to get a little more of the room in there and the sounds around you. The closer you get, the louder you are, and you can bring your volume overall down. So 2 foot away, you lose a little bit of volume, and this is kind of what it sounds like. So this is the AT2040 up close. You can get an idea of what it sounds like if you're speaking very close to it, having a close mic technique. For a podcast, I would recommend this, especially if the video is not priority. But if you wanted to take a foot back, this is what this microphone sounds like a foot away. You get an idea of what that sounds like. And what you can do here is the instant thing that happens is a volume loss. So you go from this volume level to this volume level. And we're not changing the volume for you to listen right now. But what you can do is turn up to match that volume. But what in turn happens is the sound around you and the noise floor comes up with it. Because when you turn up the gain, everything comes up. So if you step back to 2 foot and you're about 2 foot away, you could turn up the microphone. But if there's someone sitting next to you, their voice is going to start to get into this microphone because now you're turning up the volume for both of you. So if someone's talking here and you're talking here, you're getting about to be the same distance away. So if you're both right next to each other and you're both 2 foot away, the microphone's going to be less able to isolate each other. And that can introduce a lot of problems. So as far as the distances and the way each of these mics handles each of those, I feel like the 2040 is a little more conducive for being a foot away. Now, 2 foot away I don't recommend really in any scenario unless you have to do it that way. And if there's no one else or anyway near you making sound. 2040 might just be a little more directional. Who knows? But at a foot away, I feel like the 2040 can soak me up just a little bit better. And now the moment you've been waiting for, the mystery mic test featuring Evelyn and Michael. They're going to each take a listen to each of these microphones and give their thoughts and opinions in a mystery situation. They won't know which one I'm speaking into. This is mystery mic number 1. I'm going to speak into this microphone and give you a good idea about what I think about things. Now, here's the number 1 thing I think. There's a lot of good things and there's a lot of bad things, but if you focus on the good... And now this is mystery mic number 2. Evelyn's taking a listen and deeply thinking about the tone and character and things she likes or doesn't like about this microphone. This is mystery mic number 2. It's really nice to have you. I hope you enjoyed the luscious sounds of my voice on each of these microphones. So what are your thoughts on mystery mic number 1? This is mystery mic number 1.
It sounds very good. It's very clear. In comparison to the other one, I don't want to jump ahead too quick, but...
Yeah, geez, just jump right over one.
It feels... I feel like the headphone is right... It's obviously right next to my ear. Like, there's nothing in between it. And I feel like the sound isn't... I think even without comparing it to the other one, it's not as full. Like, it doesn't feel...
Mystery mic number 1?
Yeah, it just doesn't really... I'm not getting that oomph.
Okay. So, mystery mic number 2, you feel a little more...
I get that oomph.
You're a little more oomph. Okay.
Yeah, very full.
Cool. Any other thoughts, ideas?
Obviously, I lean toward mystery mic number 2.
Oh, yeah.
Digging that one. I think that's it. I like it.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us on the Mystery Mic Showdown. What is it? How do I not remember what I said? And how do you not remember what...
Nobody remembers.
The Mystery Mic Challenge.
That sounds right. Fix it in post.
For this test, both mics are at the same exact volume and have no effects done to them. Well, thanks for joining us, Evelyn, on the Mystery Mic Challenge. Next up...
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, thanks for stepping on me. Anyway, thanks for joining us, Evelyn, on the Mystery Mic Challenge. Next up, we're going to have Chopra. Thank you, Evelyn.
I can hear it from here.
The Mystery Mic Showdown.
challenge.
The mystery mic challenge.
It keeps changing every.
Kind of funny, actually.
The mystery mic comparison.
Extravaganza.
The mystery mic experiment. And now on our new segment, Mystery Mic Experiment with Michael Chopra. Now we're going to have Michael Chopra take a listen to each mic on the Mystery Mic Showdown. Hello, Michael. How are we doing, Mike?
Pretty good.
You don't sound like you're pretty good.
Pretty good.
All right, let's try that again.
Okay.
Let's talk like humans. How you doing, Michael?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. All right, so we're going to start with Mystery Mic number 1. So take a listen to the luscious tones and sounds of my voice as I speak into the Mystery Mic number 1. And now we're speaking into Mystery Mic number 2. This is my voice into Michael Chopra's ears, and he's calculating the differences and positives and negatives and things he likes, things he doesn't like, things he can observe, and things that he wants to tell us about these microphones. So, Michael, this was Mystery Microphone number 2.
Number 1.
This one.
Number 1 to me was a bit shallow, almost a little tinny.
Like my ex-girlfriend.
It was okay compared to number 2. Like Evelyn said, it wasn't, or compared to number 2, it wasn't as deep of a sound. Okay, so number 2 definitely had a deeper tone to it. The sound was just more full to me. Compared to number 1, it definitely sounded like it took more of the sound space. Number 1 sort of sounded like it was only reaching some depths of the sound space in terms of just what you hear in your headphones or like in speakers. And so for that reason, I believe that the qualities of number 2 outweigh that of number 1.
Fantastic. Thank you for your thoughts, Michael Chopra, and we will consider that deeply.
I'll say something else too.
I'm hearing what they're hearing.
I'll say something else about it.
Okay, go.
So the first microphone, I'd sounded a little bit more commercial to me, like something I would hear on the local television station because it didn't have much life to it.
Tonight at 11.
The second one sounded more like a high-end Twitch streamer who really invested into their stuff and now has a really killer gaming setup. And it just sounds like the mic to get if you really care about giving the viewer your full range of vocal depth.
And now, the bonus round. We've included Evan Prunty because he believes he has some better trained ears or maybe has some better insight than these interns. Just kidding. They're very smart. Definitely smarter than me.
They can probably hear better than me, too.
Yeah, they definitely have more frequency range.
Yeah. Hello, I know how to speak and respond to you in a timely manner and in a good volume.
We are humans. All right, so we're going to do a little test here between mic 1 and 2, and I'm going to start it now. So this is Mystery Mic number 1, and this is me speaking into the microphone, giving you some idea of what it sounds like, maybe what you think of it, and yeah, this is me. This is my life, and I'm a Powerpuff Girl.
You want to tap on the stand?
Here's the me tapping the arm.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's good.
Here's me tapping the base of it. And here's me doing a very extreme plosive test. Lots of plosives to see what that plosive rejection is like.
Okay.
And now we move on to Mystery Mic number 2. This is me speaking into the microphone, giving you my unadulterated access to my voice. This is what I sound like. This is me. This is my life, Evan.
And then just give me a couple taps.
Here's tapping on the arm. Here's tapping at the base.
Man.
And here's my plosive test, where I just absolutely put a lot of pressure on my plosives to see what kind of possibilities we can get that will puncture the wind projection.
So I'm going to guess
Okay.
that you did the same order that you did initially. Is that true?
I don't know.
So 2 is the AT20 or whatever, AT2040.
Maybe. Continue with your thoughts.
Well, my hypothesis here is that they heard a volume difference and that swayed the overall sound quality rating. Because
Okay.
I think 2 definitely was louder. I don't know if that means it sounded better per se.
If we play louder, people will think we're good.
But I have a theory. People talk loud when they want to act smart, right? Correct! So if we play loud, people might think we're good.
So am I on the right track or?
Well, I that's a great hypothesis, and you have the mics correct. But maybe we should dial in the volume a little better now that you've sit in the seat. I couldn't tell because it's in my own ear. It seemed about the same.
Yeah, 1 is definitely a little quieter, which could, in theory, I think, sway
some opinion
the
there.
opinion.
Okay. Well,
So we'll bring Chopra, but let's adjust the volume and we'll bring Chopra. All right, so now we've adjusted the volume to try to match the volume a little more accurately. So now Hunter's gonna just really quickly do the test one more time with me and with Chopra.
all right, this is mystery mic number 1. This is a test so you can listen to the sound of my voice and the characteristics of this microphone. This is mystery mic number 2, so you can listen to the sound of my voice and the characteristics of this microphone.
Can I have a plosive test?
This is a plosive test where you can check what kind of plosives are on mystery mic number 2. This is a plosive test so you can check what kind of plosives you got on mystery mic number 1.
Okay, so I think
1, 2.
I think they're honestly pretty similar overall.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's really that much difference. The biggest difference is so mystery mic number 1 on the one you just did
Yeah.
has better plosive, and I'm assuming that's the Elgato.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of what our preconceived notion was, but now hearing them back to back, I don't think they really sound that different, and I think the Elgato is slightly better without, a pop filter or something, which is good for me. I like that personally because it's just like a cleaner setup. All right, now let's
Yeah, I personally think the 2040 is great, but it needs a pop filter. Whereas the Elgato is great, but it does not. You could just run it like this.
All right, so now we're going to do it with Chopra. We're going to do Chopra again.
So now, round 2 of the Mystery Mic Challenge with Chopra on a second listen with some better balanced volume levels.
From a perspective of someone who's not a huge sound guy per se, I think that they're pretty similar. They have very similar tones to them. Can't really tell a discernible difference, to be honest.
Very good. That's fair, Chopra. That's fair, Chopra. That's fair, Chopra. That's fair, Chopra. So yeah, you think that volume difference swayed you in the beginning, you think?
Well, yeah, that should have been the same.
Well, it technically was the same, but
It's the same gain.
It's the same gain level.
But this microphone has a higher output
Yeah.
naturally. Because they were at the same gain, but the mics output differently. So there was a lot to learn there in the Mystery Mic Challenge and kind of the results. I think overall, our preconceived idea is that we were leaning toward the Elgato as the better mic of these two. Personally, I think they're just different. With the Elgato having one true advantage over the other, and that's the plosive rejection. So as a well-rounded winner, I would say the Elgato is ultimately, in my opinion, better, just because it offers you more value. Well, let's just say it has more value. As far as a sound standpoint, I think the 2040 can sound great on someone's voice and could potentially sound better than the Wave on someone's voice. I actually like my voice on the 2040 more, But the Wave is a better option overall. So these are the things you consider when picking a microphone. Not having both these microphones to make a decision as to which one sounds better with your voice is tough, but hopefully this gives you a little more insight as to which one you like. Hopefully this gives you a little more insight as to which one's going to work better for you. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Head to Head. I hope you learned something from this video, and if you have any questions about either of these microphones, throw it in the comments below. If you like the video, click on that like button. It really helps us out. And please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. What's better than one microphone? Two microphones. What's better than not subscribing? Subscribing.
I guess just get a shot of me and Davey, just for my records. Are you sweet? Why are you so sweet? You're just sweet, Davey. Yeah. Why are you so sweet?